All right, good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know we still have some people that are coming in, grabbing some breakfast and talking with the vendors out in the classroom. Please do make sure to go and check out the different vendors that we have. I'm Josh White. I'm CAAR president. Yeah. Oh, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order here. All right. And I'm going to welcome you to our November general membership meeting and annual business meeting. This is our business meeting as well. Just a reminder, your safety is top of mind for us. Therefore, in case of an emergency today, I wanted to point out the closest exits to you in the room here. In addition to the 2 exits located in the ballroom, which lead to the side parking lot over here, we have 4 doors immediately outside this room leading out to the terrace. On the terrace, you can follow the walkway around the building to the front parking lot. And you can also exit the ballroom and pre-function area and leave the way you came in through the front doors. As a courtesy reminder, Food Lion has generously allowed us to use their parking lot for overflow parking. Please make sure you do park only in the designated spaces and never along the fire lane. Additionally, we've added 2 new 15-minute parking spaces to the CAAR parking lot. So if you need to just drop in to drop off a payment or sign up for something, please do use those. If your vehicle's in those currently, please do move it so that folks can use that. And also do not park in the grass on the sidewalk or in the fire lanes for the building. Parking outside of designated areas will result in towing. So thanks for your cooperation. Before we move into today's agenda, please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the CAAR Annual Development and Economic Summit. The minutes were included in today's handouts. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes? And if you're on Zoom, you can raise your hand as well. Submit any feedback. Okay, if not, they'll stand as approved as distributed. Next, I would like us to acknowledge the CAAR antitrust statement. The statement ensures that we're encouraging discussions that promote all realtors and does not restrict any competition among members or any potential members. We always work to foster a forum for open discussion of diverse opinions without attempting in any way to discourage or sanction any business practice. The CAAR antitrust statement will be acknowledged before every CAAR meeting. Zoom attendees can see full copy of our antitrust statement in their handouts, and those in person can find a full copy on the registration table. We're really grateful for our sponsors for stepping up. We wouldn't be able to do these sorts of programs without our sponsors. And this session is brought to you courtesy of the following folks. Our supporting sponsors are Charlottesville Moving Solutions, Cornerstone Homes, and also Greenwood Homes. And we also appreciate all the exhibitors that we have today. We value their professionalism, their service, and their partnership with CAAR as affiliates. And if you haven't visited tables, please do take some time before you leave today to just say hello and thank you to the vendors. As you know, CAAR is celebrating a tremendous milestone this year. We have our 100th anniversary celebration. To celebrate, CAAR has been rolling out a series of celebrations throughout the year, including our official proclamations being read during state and local government sessions, our centennial barbecue that we had in the summer, and various chances to win a $100 Amazon gift card as part of the historical trivia. To reflect on CAAR's present, and future, we will watch the 5th video of a series of videos that share memories of our members over the years. All right, great moments. We will post these as well on the CAAR YouTube channel soon. So if you want to review those or share some funny pictures with folks, you're welcome to. At this time, I'd like to invite Yuri Reese, who's the chair of the Candidate Review Committee, to remind us on important information and actions for our 2026 Board of Officers and Directors election.
Thanks, Josh. Good morning, everyone. Voting for the 2026 election of the CAAR Board of Officers and Directors began yesterday at 9:30. It will end this morning at 9:30, so please remember to vote. Primary and secondary realtors are eligible to vote in this election. You should have received an email yesterday with the ballot. Please check your spam folders. I invite everyone, if you have not already done so, to please vote using this QR code before 9:30 this morning. Per the ballot, the following members have already been elected. President, Amanda Spagoni. Immediate past president, Josh White. Listed on the screen are the candidates running for a position on the 2026 Board of Officers and Directors, President-elect, and Treasurer. We also have 3-year director and 1-year director positions. If you haven't already done so, please get to know our candidates by visiting CAAR's election tab on the webpage. Should you desire a copy of your completed ballot, please reach out to communications@caar.com, as these are only available per request. As this year's chair, I would like to take a moment to thank our candidate review committee mentioned above for all of their hard work verifying that all of our candidates met the requirements under CAAR's bylaws. I also want to acknowledge the following board members who are fulfilling their remaining terms: Kim Armstrong, Roxanne Carter-Johnston, Matthew Holt, Georgia Lindsay, Janice O'Hara, and Kevin Wilberger. We appreciate the time and service these members have dedicated to CAAR. I would also like to recognize the outgoing board members: Ann Burrows, immediate past president; Woody Fincham, treasurer; Jeff Maddie, director; Kyle Olson, director; Jessica Russo, director; and Candace Vanderland, director. Thank you all for the time, energy, and effort you've dedicated to our association over the years. You've truly made a difference. Again, I would like to remind everyone that voting today ends at 9:30, and the results will be sent to the membership via email by 5 p.m. today. Thank you, and I'll turn things back to you, Josh.
All right, thank you so much. And thanks all for everyone who's stepping up to volunteer and in these roles. It's awesome to see the diverse pool of candidates that we have as well. So now for our main program, the CAAR Foundation is continuing to make tremendous strides to address affordable housing in our community. And we are fortunate to have our chair, Michael Guthrie, executive director, Dave Norris, and past chair, Greg Slater of the CAAR Foundation, with us to highlight its impact over the past 18 months and share how its vision has turned into action. This presentation will be shared in next week's news group issue. And if you're in person and have a question, you can go ahead and write it down during the presentation on an index card and raise your hand, and a staff member will come and collect it. And then those on Zoom, you can use the Q&A feature to submit your questions. And we'll get to Q&A after the presentation. Michael, I welcome you to come on the stage and go ahead and kick us off.
They handed me the clicker, but I don't have anything to click, so I'll just give it to Dave here in just a minute. It's kind of like the gavel, passing the gavel. I'm going to pass the clicker. Thanks for being here this morning. I'm Michael Guthrie, and I have the privilege of chairing the CAAR Foundation, and it's been just an incredible year. When we started the year, before I do anything else, the folks that are here from the CAAR Foundation, why don't you stand up real quick so everybody knows who you are. Even Jeff Gaffney's got a tally on today. That's crazy. So it's been an incredible year. When I took over as the chair this year, basically what we talked about is Greg Slater was talking about the fact that we really wanted to build something that was going to be impactful but sustainable. And so we talked about last year, basically getting the plane on the runway and doing all the things we needed to do so that this foundation could take off. And so when I came in this year, my job in leading our foundation was to get the plane to take off and to begin to do some of the things that we for years have been thinking about wanting to do. And I'm going to let Dave kind of walk us through it, but I'm really privileged and excited to tell you that the plane has been launched, and there's just incredible things already going on with collaboration with other organizations, with us coming together, i.e. the concert and raising money, and we'll talk more about that later, and things that you're going to hear about in just a little bit in regards to your opportunities to get involved. And it's a scary thing for a lot of people. It's really scary for people that have never been in that kind of situation before. And we're putting together a program where we're going to help Habitat, help Piedmont Housing, help the different organizations with their first-time buyers and sort of trailblaze with them. So just a lot of incredible things going on that we're very excited about. And I think Dave's the one who needs to share the nitty-gritty on it. So Dave, here's the clicker. And let's give Dave a big hand.
All right, thank you, Michael, and it's a real privilege to serve under your leadership and the leadership of the board of directors. So, is this? Thank you, Ali. So who is the CAAR Foundation? This is a list of our board of directors. You'll see on the list, and on the right is our esteemed officers for this year. All of them except for Greg. Greg actually is out of town this morning, but the rest of the officers are here. And of course, I serve as executive director, and Abby, who's in the other room, is secretary to the board. So the CAAR Foundation, a lot of the work of the CAAR Foundation is organized under the umbrella of 7 committees. These committees mostly meet regularly. A couple of them are more ad hoc in nature: budget and finance, community engagement, education, fundraising, marketing, communications, nominations, and policy documents. We are always accepting and welcoming volunteers to serve on our committees, even if you're not a board member. So if you have an interest in any of these topics, we'd love to talk to you and talk to you about getting involved in the work of the foundation. So our foundation focuses on 4 programmatic focus areas: funding, volunteer engagement, education and awareness, and advocacy. All of whom are working under the tagline, "We can all be part of the affordable housing solution." So I want to talk a little bit about our activities and impacts over the last 18 months. It's been a busy time, and we're gearing up for even more impact in the future. So for funding, we've already made grants to Albemarle Housing Improvement Program and Piedmont Housing Alliance, looking at other funding opportunities in the future. The one exciting project we've been working on heavily over the last couple months is a collaboration that we brokered between Greenwood Homes, Piedmont Community Land Trust, CAAR Foundation, Riverbend, and others to make home ownership affordable for moderate income families. So a lot of you attended our benefit concert on September 4th when we raised money for this collaboration. And I'm very pleased to say we have Rod Phillips here this morning, who is with Dogwood Realty. Rod was one of, let's give him a round of applause. And Rod was one of the co-organizers of our benefit concert, which I think was a huge success. And we ended up raising a lot of money to support this new collaboration. So I'm going to have, have Rod come forward with a ceremonial check. I think Luis Oyola is here. Luis. I know he's in the building. Um, But I'm going to have Rod just talk a few words about the benefit concert, and then we're going to present a check to Luis on behalf of the Piedmont Community Land Trust. So, Rod?
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, I'm Rod Phillips with Dogwood Realty Group, and Greg Slater and I headed up the concert committee for this big event on September 4th, and we were so happy that it was such a great turnout, by the way. The really neat thing about what happened on September 4th is that there was about 250 of us, our membership of CAAR Realtors there. And it was the first time I've seen that many of us together in a social scene and just having fun, and people actually stayed late past the concert. We had a great band, and the food was good, and the venue was appropriate. And we just hope to keep doing this. You know, we hope that's our first annual. We are going to have a second annual, of course, in 2026, and it was just a huge success. To our sponsors, some of the main sponsors, Guild, Greenwood Homes, I think there's a slide there, Atlantic Builders, Virginia Housing Closure Title, and the venue Pro Renata, and of course, Dogwood Realty as well, us. They gave a very large amount of money to promote the food. They paid for the band, which was pricey, and also the drink tickets. So it was a huge success and just a very fun event. So I can't say enough about how much fun it was that evening that we were there for several hours. But would love to give this the proceeds, which is in excess of $32,000 to Piedmont Housing Land Trust, to Luis. Is Luis in the house? Did he not make it here? So I want to present this big check, but I want to actually hand it to someone. But I guess he's working his way here. But anyway, so I appreciate the opportunity. Greg Slater did a lot of work as well. Christian Street Cummings was one of the sponsors of the VIP area, along with Greenwood Homes, and just the committee itself, Jeff Matty and Michael Guthrie. Of course, thank you to Dave Norris for directing this, and I can't say enough about Greg Slater. Greg Slater's on every board, and what a wonderful guy who just keeps giving and giving. So I'm going to wrap this up. I think, Dave, I'll have you present the check. A special thanks to Pete Koch, and we had a lot of people also who not only paid for the ticket that evening, which was $50-$100, but also donated $1,000+ Pete was one of those. Thank you, Pete Kochen from Dogwood Realty Group. So is Luis not in the house? We just saw him. Anyway, we must have an emergency, but here's the check. So, and I guess we will hand it to Luis at some other time. Anyway, thank you, Dave.
All right, thank you again, Rod, for all of your support, not only for the concert, but just for the work of the foundation in general. So our second focus area, volunteer engagement. We've been working on a project for a good number of months now called Homeownership Navigators. This is a brand new program. We're actually officially launching it right here, right now, whereby CAAR members will serve as volunteer mentors for aspiring first-time home buyers who are referred to us by Habitat for Humanity. I know Kelly Epley is here with Habitat for Humanity, and other partners. The idea is that the volunteers will meet with the mentors at least once a month, kind of keep them encouraged and focused. We know that preparing for home ownership can be a long and can be an arduous process, and a lot of people end up giving up hope. And so with this program, we're going to stick with families for months, if not years on end, encourage them through that process, help them access resources, and help them navigate the channels to the point where they can actually get a key in their hand. So we're very excited to launch the Homeownership Navigators program here this morning. We're going to be sending out more information through our various emails about this program, but if you want to jump on board today, so Homeownership Navigators will receive training and support from the CAAR Foundation. If you would like to volunteer your time as a homeownership navigator, you can contact me there, or you can go to this link. And again, we'll send this out by email, but you can go to this link. There's a program description at the link, as well as a very short interest form that you can fill out, or you can click on this QR code to receive more information and to sign up, or at least express interest. So we're very excited about this. It's a great way for CAAR to get behind people that are working to become homeowners and achieve their dreams. So the third focus area is education and awareness. Our first project there is we collaborated with Charlottesville Tomorrow, as many of you know, to develop the online housing resource guide. We actually have a pamphlet out at the table about the guide, but it's a user-friendly repository of information about all the affordable housing programs and resources and opportunities in this area in one place online. It's hosted by Charlottesville Tomorrow. And to date, over 10,000 individual users have accessed the guide. So the word is getting out, and we're very pleased to have been part of developing that and getting that online. We also have hosted hundreds of realtors and affiliates and members of the general public at a variety of educational events. Yuri Reese was here. He's the chair of our education committee. So we've done a housing Albemarle lunch and learn. We did a homeownership breakfast in this room. The room was packed. Community Land Trust breakfast. We had Community Land Trust open houses, both at Prospect Avenue and Victorian Heights. We have an information session coming soon on the city's zoning code. We know that's a topic of great conversation. We're also going to be doing an information session at Southwood with Habitat for Humanity so that realtors can learn more about Southwood and all the great work that's happening there. So stay tuned for many more educational events coming in the future. So last but certainly not least, in terms of focus areas for the foundation, is advocacy. So we champion good public policy when it comes to promoting affordable housing. This past year, we endorsed the creation of a robust affordable housing trust fund in Albemarle County's annual budget. We prompted CAAR to send a letter to this effect, testified at the county's public hearing. The county significantly increased funding for affordable housing in FY 2026. They're moving in the right direction.
I'm gonna change my call this in the Zoom folks can.
Organizations from across Virginia are working together to advance common sense bipartisan legislation and the general citizen that ensures all Virginians have access to an affordable home. So through volunteer engagement, through education awareness, through advocacy, the CAAR Foundation is working to move the needle on affordable housing, and we can't do any of this without you. People often ask, how can I get involved in supporting your work? These are just some ways. You can certainly make a donation to the foundation in honor of CAAR's 100th anniversary. The winner chosen at random wins a free CAAR membership for 2026, so that's very exciting. Next realty, there's several nice people in the room, took the initiative this year where agents donated a portion of each home closing to the foundation. We'd love to have more brokerages step up and do something similar. We have realtors that donate to the foundation automatically on a monthly, McAnally is here. We have other realtors that donate to the foundation on a monthly basis, just automatically comes to us, which we're really pleased about. You can invite to speak about the foundation to your brokerage, to your affiliate, et cetera. We're always happy to come out and do our dog and pony show. You can volunteer, as I mentioned before, as a foundation committee member, as a homeownership navigator now. And just as CAAR is filling seats on their board of directors, we are filling seats on our board of directors. So we currently have an open application process. The deadline is next week, November 11th, and you can apply at that link. So let's once again in supporting our work. Anything and everything that you all do helps us do what we do, and we're extremely grateful. My favorite t-shirt is it's when locals can't afford to live here. So that's what we do at the CAAR Foundation. Always open to donations. That's our website. And I am happy to answer any questions that anybody may have. All right. Thank you, Kim.
Could you put that last screen up for a minute, please? Dave and I always like to be known for having the meeting end earlier rather than later. So we wanted to make it as succinct as possible. A lot of you all know what we're doing here. You know, in some ways, we're preaching to the choir here because you're the folks that are here every month in committee meetings, know kind of what we're doing. The big challenge that we want to put out to you all is we have another close to 1,000 realtor members in our association that need to know what's going on and need to know that their contribution can make a significant difference. You know, you think about Victoria Farm, when you think about over in the Prospect neighborhood, we've gotten people into houses for the very first time. And I have a good friend, this was years ago, and was asking him about, you know, how best to get involved and do things. And he said, Michael, you need to know there are a lot of people out there that have never been on the Monopoly board, that they've never had the opportunity to get $200 when they pass go. And that was just the perfect picture for me of what we're doing here. What we're doing with the CAAR Foundation is we're helping people get on the Monopoly board for the first time. And they've never even been able to afford a Baltic Avenue, right? They've never been in a situation where somebody is paying them money because they have an investment property. And when we look at what we've done in Victoria Farms and with this over $30,000 in closing costs, 8 homeowners are moving in right now. Right now, they're moving into houses and having an opportunity for the first time to build equity and to have something to give to their kids. Prospect Avenue, which I'm really proud of. I'm on the Abundant Life board for that neighborhood. And Community Land Trust had 6 duplex or 3 duplexes, 6 units. And all those people now have moved into those houses. They've been in them almost a year. But the really cool thing about it is 4 of the 6 are people that lived in the neighborhood. They either lived in the apartments up the street or they were renting a property in the Orangedale Prospect area, and now they're homeowners. They're homeowners because people are making a difference, because people like us are stepping up and helping out. And so the last thing I just want to say is thank you if you're one of the folks who have given money when you've paid your dues. Thank you so much for contributing, making a fair share contribution. If you didn't, there's still time. If you didn't check that box, you've got the QR code right here. And to have an opportunity for $40 or $100 or $1,000 or whatever it is you want to get, $15, that money, that little bit of money is making a difference in a number of different first-time homebuyers right now because of what we've done. And with the Housing Coalition and with the Trailblazer scenario, with the thing that we've done with Seville Tomorrow, there is now a housing resource where somebody can go to one place and bless you and find out, you know, whether it's a rental, whether it's how to keep my home, whatever it is, there's one place where they can go and find all those resources which haven't been there before. So from the CAAR Foundation, from the executive committee to the board of directors, to Dave, we're just grateful. But what we want to leave you is please take us up on having us come out to your offices. Please, if Women's Council of Realtors or YPN and all of you all have been supportive, if we can help in any way in coming out and having a table or whatever so that more and more people know what we're doing versus you guys who are always there, this table right here, you can walk in that back door and you can see those 4 heads every time, right? We can make a difference. And where we make a difference is when we start getting other people to do it and the ripple effect comes, and the next thing we know, 1,000 folks know that what's going on and they're all contributing because they know they're making a difference. So thank you so much. Luis, let's go.
Told you I'm the best.
Thank you so much for this. It's my first time holding one of these. Second, I wanted to say apologies on behalf of Keith Smith, who really wanted to attend. And also apologies for me because I had to take a phone call and this is why I wasn't earlier. I just want to emphasize so much how much this kind of contribution helps us. Keith and I have been talking to, at this point, hundreds of people one-on-one since the summer when we started listing the townhomes at Victorian Heights that Greenwood Homes built. And there's people who, for example, can qualify for a month, the monthly payment on their mortgage, or they have a lot of savings, but even those combined are not enough to cover closing costs. And so we have to say, I'm sorry. Or, you know, they can cover closing costs, but they can just barely make it with the monthly payment, and then they just need that little extra cash. This kind of contribution is what has helped us get over the edge for a lot of buyers. And right now we've closed on 5 of the homes at Victorian Heights and are under contract for the last 3. So we have found qualified low-income buyers, and through the community land trust model, we're going to keep them permanently affordable. And a huge thanks on that goes to the CAAR Foundation and all of your contributions. So thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks again to the CAAR Foundation, to the board, to just to kind of script. It's been really cool to see from the CAAR board side this growth and this development previous to the 18 months that really the CAAR Foundation has been doing these things. And so just so much work, thanks to Greg and Michael and Dave, and then just all of the different realtor partners that I know have stepped up in incredible ways. And those of you who are on the board of the CAAR Foundation, I think the passion that was evident at the concert and also in some of the presentations that we've had at the CAAR board from the foundation, and then the money that CAAR itself has been able to give to the foundation as a result has been phenomenal. So thinking about the workforce housing funds that were set aside back years ago, and now bringing those into kind of a full 360, like full circle now into the CAAR Foundation is incredible. So just kudos. I know there's a little bit more work to be done, but thank you, gentlemen, and Luis, for all the work y'all are doing at the Land Trust too. So just a reminder, you can win realtor dues as well. So if you do give today, that goes towards that. So scan that QR code, so maybe you could get some free dues next year too. And the winner will be announced next month, so it's exciting. And that's Christmas time, so that would be a great Christmas present. So as realtors, we also need to keep a pulse on what is happening in our market's footprint. We're fortunate to have Matt Johnson, Assistant Economic Director of the City of Charlottesville. He's going to share an economic update with us. And Matt's presentation will also be in next week's news group issue if you want to share with colleagues, et cetera. And we can also do some questions after Matt's presentation. So again, use the index card or the Zoom chat feature. And without further ado, I'll invite Matt Johnson to the stage. Thanks for being here, Matt. All right, good morning.
Well, let me just start off because I'm sure everybody loves a good home ownership story, and I have one from just this morning. So there's nothing quite like finding out that overnight, late into the night, there was a water main break that affected your neighborhood. And the good news, the bad news is if you don't realize that and somebody flushes a toilet in your house at 4:30 in the morning, it makes quite the racket that will put you on an adrenaline rush for the rest of the day. So that's my story today. And hopefully it just continues to get better from there. Appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to come out. Thanks to CAAR. Congratulations on 100 years. That's a great accomplishment. Appreciate what you all are doing. The foundation, what you talked about, what you're doing in the community to work on facilitating affordable housing solutions is very important to the work we do in economic development and to the community as a whole. So I'm going to get through 70 slides this morning. No, I'm not really going to get through slides. I'll tell you. I'll go through these relatively quickly. I'm happy to make the presentation available afterwards. And certainly if you do have questions, we'll have plenty of time for that near the end of everything. So again, I'm Matt Johnson. I'm Assistant Director of the City of Charlottesville, Office of Economic Development. We are guiding our economic development strategic plan, and we do that to fulfill with our mission and our vision, which are both here on the screen for you. Basically, our vision is building a stronger economy, one business, one job at a time. People always ask, what do you do in economic development? And I tell them, what we do is we're that place where local government and the business community come together and meet. And what we try to do is help grow and diversify the business tax base, especially to help reduce the tax burden on residents, but also to create meaningful job opportunities and career pathways for the residents that we have. We have a staff of 8 positions. One of them is unfilled at the moment. We just brought on 2 new additions. You can see there at the very bottom. Chris Engel is our director. Trish is our administrative coordinator. She's the one that holds us all together. She's the glue in the office. We have an entrepreneurship support specialist, Keith Grooms. If you've ever been to an event here in the area, you may recognize him as the pie guy. He does that when he's not working for us full time. Jenna B. Shipman is our workforce development program manager. Brenda Kelly is our redevelopment manager, who recently came over to us from the Office of Community Solutions. Wanda Fitch works in our downtown job center, and we do have a parking manager position because among some of the things that our office does is we're responsible for managing the operations of the city's 2 parking garages at Water Street and Market Street, as well as a couple other surface lots in the area. So this is our economic strategic plan 2024 through 2028. So our 5-year plan, we're in year number 2 right now, getting ready to move into year 3. And we basically have sort of priority areas. They are equitable entrepreneurship, intentional and innovative growth, pathways for opportunity, creative placemaking, and storytelling for investment. And as you break these goals down, I'll just talk very briefly about each one. Going with entrepreneurship, what we want to do is leverage entrepreneurship as a way to increase wealth building, especially within communities that have been underserved in the past and underestimated. Goal number 2, we want to make sure that we're very intentional and building an innovative economy, one that embraces growth and value-added partnerships and ways to just grow our economy through that. Goal number 3, creating those pathways, again, to meaningful opportunities and career pathways for residents of Charlottesville. And then investing in placemaking opportunities as we continue to want to make Charlottesville a place that people continue to want to be involved and invested and live and grow. And goal number 5, just making sure that we're doing our storytelling so we position Charlottesville as a place of interest for those that are interested in expanding here or relocating here to the city of Charlottesville. I'm going to give you a few numbers real quick. Actually, I'll give you a bunch of numbers as we go through things, and happy to talk a little bit more, but I'll hit some of the basic stats. City of Charlottesville itself, relatively small, 10.2 square miles, almost fully developed. If you take a look at what the breakdown is, we have about 17.6, about 17.5% of the entire acreage in the city that is open for some sort of commercial development. Everything else is residential. So we have roughly, 85-15 percent split with that. When you actually break down those numbers a little bit further, you go in and there's only a little over 1.3% of our total land acreage that is available for any sort of industrial development. So why is this important? If you're not familiar with economic development, sort of what's happening right now, there have been some really great announcements in our region. Albemarle County, certainly with AstraZeneca, that announcement that happened a couple weeks ago. A lot of site selection consultants, a lot of companies that are coming in are looking for large sites that have large acreage. They want to build large facilities. That is not an opportunity that we in the city of Charlottesville are able to take advantage of. So our focus really is the smaller companies, the smaller businesses, those that can be like research and development offshoots from the university, people like that that can sort of start in Charlottesville, do some initial growth at least. We try to hold on to them as long as we can, but we don't have a lot of land in order for them to be able to grow past a certain point. If you want to see how this is sort of laid out, this is a map of the city of Charlottesville that's sort of shaded, and then the colored areas show the different commercial areas of zoning in the city. So a very small percentage, that's roughly what that 17% looks like if you're looking at it from a graphic sort of basis. This is in the breakdown of our industry. If you take a look at our industry mix here, comes from a source called Jobs EQ. Basically, we have 50%, a little over 50% of our industries are either in healthcare, hospitality, accommodations, food services, professional, scientific, technical, and retail trade. So that's pretty representative of what you're going to see in the city of Charlottesville. One of the things you really don't see on here, it falls into the all others category, is anything related to manufacturing, because again, we don't have the percentage of space that's available to really facilitate too much of that aside from a couple of corridors. Employment is something that we try to really focus on. It's a very important part of what we do. Unemployment in the city of Charlottesville has remained relatively low, and I have to put on my reader glasses. I'm at that point in life. I want to make sure I get all my stats right. We have a low point of 464 in December of 2019. The highest amount was there in the COVID years where we had 2,958 that were unemployed in June of 2020. And we're currently, as of August, at 789 unemployed people in the city of Charlottesville. So those are city of Charlottesville residents themselves that are going to be without employment. How does that compare, generally speaking? This shows a graph from which let me just tout Fred really quick. If you are not familiar with the St. Louis Federal Reserve, they have this tool called Fred. It is like the best thing for getting data from American Community Surveys, census, and putting it in graphical form, or you can download it. So Fred is like one of the best go-to resources that you can have for getting data. But this particular graph shows the unemployment rate for the city of Charlottesville, for Virginia and US. You can see that traditionally, and as it is currently, the city of Charlottesville generally does very well. The percentage rate of unemployment stays below both the state and the US average. Right now, as of August 2025, Charlottesville was at 3.1% unemployment, Virginia was 3.6%, and the US was 4.3%. So you can see that those are pretty good numbers. One of the places we do have a challenge is when you start to take a look at household income. So if you take a look at the median average household, the median household wage for the city, the state, and the US, you'll see there that Charlottesville is substantially below both the US and the numbers for especially Virginia. So Charlottesville right now As of the most recent numbers was at 72,542 for median household income. The US was the next one up there on the chart, 77,719. And the Virginia average was almost $90,000 per household. So that's a pretty substantial gap that we have that we're trying to work at overcoming. And we're doing that by, again, working to create these meaningful job pathways and opportunities for residents. But this is also part of the reason why it's so important to have affordable housing solutions available here in the city of Charlottesville and in our region. We'll take a look real quick at some revenue generation for the city, just to give you an idea. These are typical sales taxes collected over the course of 2015 through 2024. You can see that things were relatively flat for up through 2019. Certainly you saw a decrease in 2020, and then you've seen an increase in 2021 that has sort of peaked in 23 and started to level off in 2024. We would expect, as we go into seeing the numbers for 2025, that those numbers are going to be steady or maybe drop again slightly a little bit off of that. But total sales tax, and these are just sales taxes that are collected, were just shy of 15 million in 2023 and were 14.34 million in 2024. We take a look at our total food and beverage and our transient occupancy. These are sales numbers. These are not tax numbers, just to make sure that we're on the same page, because I realize I'm doing this on the heels of giving you some tax numbers. These are the actual sales. The good news is that we have seen consistent growth. But again, like we were just seeing with the sales tax, if you take a look at 2023 and into 2024, you start to see some things level out. And again, we will continue probably to see those same types of trends going forward if we don't see a little bit of drop in those. Combined for 2024, food and beverage and our transient occupancy tax, or the sales were just over $415 million in sales for those two combined. And again, most of that is in food and beverage. We do very well in the food and beverage sector when it comes to revenues that are generated by the city. And so we hope to continue to see some growth there. But again, as some different things change, we think that we'll see some leveling out in there. If you have submitted a building permit anytime recently, this probably does not surprise you. These are our value of building permits that have come in over the course of the last few years. You'll see in 2024, there was a substantial spike in the value of commercial building permits. That was really driven in large part by projects current 2024, so that they were able to take advantage of the building code that was already in existence before we changed over at the beginning of this year to the 2021 building code, I believe it is. So you see the substantial number there. You will see probably a much lower number, probably more along the lines of what we've seen historically, probably closer to what we saw in 2022, as we go into this year for a number of different reasons. That's the value of the building permits. If you take a look at the total number of permits, in 2023, we had just under 1,700 permits that were submitted total. And we're just a little bit above that in 2024 with 1,741. The large majority of the permits that come in are residential in nature. Again, not surprising given the way that Charlottesville's land zoning is distributed and made up throughout the city. All right, I'm going to move on. I heard that you guys really like to hear about some of the projects that are going on. I will fully caveat this by saying this is outside of my normal area of expertise. I'm going to give you some information that we've got. Probably any specific information I'm able to share on these particular items is going to be very limited, but I'm also happy to work to get you any specific answers that you would like. So I just picked a few that we've got going on here. 10th and Grady, making some ADA improvements. And I'm highlighting right now what are larger projects. There are some projects we call quick builds that are much smaller in nature. Most of the quick build projects have something to do with accessibility. That's a very big thing in the city of Charlottesville right now. It's a very big priority for us, not only in city government, but what we see as an important thing for the residents of the city of Charlottesville and what city council has sort of given us some direction on. So 10th and Grady Avenue, there are some substantial ADA improvements that are going to be taking place there. This one is probably the shortest project we're going to talk about right now. They're a little bit behind the October that's slated here, but they're just getting started on the actual construction part of things, which when we say construction, that's everything from like the site locate to the utility locations and all those things that have to happen. So not necessarily shovel in the ground, but they anticipate it being done quarter. I know here it says January 2026, but I think we're still on target for first quarter of 2026. So that's going to be pretty important for that particular area of the city where you have that intersection with Preston and Grady and things along those lines. East High Street streetscape, that's going to be a pretty significant project. You can see just by taking a look at the dates, hopefully there are going to be improvements to the streetscape and some of the other, again, accessibility. And when we say accessibility, it's not just whether or not we have ramps, it's whether or not we have the sidewalks that are available, if the sidewalks are the proper width that need to be designed to accommodate those that maybe have to use some sort of wheelchair access or something along those lines. But High Street, the East High Street improvements, they're going to basically begin here in the first quarter of next year. And if everything goes according to plan, it will roughly be the first quarter of 2030 before everything is totally wrapped up. So, we're going into 2026, and some of this work is going to be done, some of it's going to be done in phases. There's a lot of underground utility work that has to be done in order to make this happen. That's really where a lot of this, the timeline is going to come in. It is not easy to underground utilities, especially when you have existing conditions that already put you in a tight space to do that type of thing. So be on the lookout for this. There's already been, if you happen to travel East High Street, you may have seen that they've already started to do a little bit of location work on that particular one. This was going to be very impactful for a few people. In fact, a number of people. Dairy Road Bridge replacement. This project is going to replace the entire span, including the pedestrian crossing for Dairy Road Bridge that goes across the 250 bypass. So that one is supposed to begin here again, first quarter of next year. Sorry, fourth quarter of next year. The bridge itself is anticipated to be closed in February of 2027. And then the new bridge will be opened, estimated March of 2028. So there will be about a 1-year time frame where that bridge will not be open and will not be able to be used. So people in those neighborhoods will unfortunately need to find a route to get around. But the bridge has reached the place where it has to be replaced. And there are going to be some other improvements that come along as part of that, including improvements to the pedestrian portion of it as well. There's just a couple of projects that I'm not going to really highlight that much, but Monticello Avenue and 2nd Street has some pedestrian improvements on the way, starting here in the next few weeks. Next road, Emmett Street, streetscape improvements will hopefully wrap up by the time fall 2027 comes. That's going to be a project that actually includes some additional sidewalk along Barracks Road, which will be very important to connecting those communities as you come down into the Barracks commercial corridor. In the streetscape improvements between Ivy and Arlington, that should be something that wraps up in winter 2028. Most of these projects won't begin until sometime in 2026, some of them into 2027. But just because these are in sort of more major areas, I wanted to go ahead and point those out. I will say, if you are interested in finding out more about these projects and sort of getting updated information, you can go to the city's website. It's charlottesville.gov. And if you go to the Public Works page on sort of the left-hand navigation bar, they have one link that says Transportation and Mobility Projects. And then they have another link under there that says Quick Build Projects. And those will all provide you with a list. Those that are the major projects, they will actually have links for some of those that will pull up information like what I was just showing you on these particular screens here that we had over the last few. So what are we watching in economic development? Because we're always trying to be ahead of things. We try to be proactive, not reactive, although sometimes that's the way we have to be. So global market concerns, trade in general, supply chain. I will tell you that one of the issues that we've had right now in talking to a couple businesses is those that do export are having a substantially longer time getting their permits. If they have products that need to have a special permit from the Department of Commerce and Trade in order to be able to ship those items overseas, they're having substantially longer times. One business was recently telling me that what used to take about a month is now taking them about 6 months to get those permits. So some substantial lead times there, which just has a ripple effect on what those businesses are able to do and having to hold inventory and trying to plan out things. So global market concerns outside of our direct control, but we try to certainly watch those and adjust accordingly. The national business environment, just what we have going on here. There's a lot of different things when we're talking about groups that do research and development and provide equipment for labs that are associated with universities, that are associated with different federal contracts. When there are impacts to those ultimate funding sources, those have trickle-down effects that can impact the businesses that we have as well. So we've seen a little bit of that. One of the big things that we're looking at is work from home versus return to office. There was actually a report that came out from Fred yesterday, and they were talking about some trends. They've started to track work from home versus hybrid versus work solely from the office. And they're starting to see a few little pieces of movement there, and maybe a little bit more of return to office. But when we have such a large base, especially like in the downtown mall area, where you have businesses that have traditionally relied upon foot traffic during the day, and those offices are not as full as they used to be. That is something that is a challenge. So we're continuing to watch that. Housing is something that we're taking a look at. We talked about that earlier in the foundation's presentation. You've probably heard that the zoning ordinance has now been able to move forward. There's going to be a traffic study that's done, but we look forward to seeing how that can continue to be implemented. There was a lot of momentum there for a while. And then when everything happened, everything was sort of put on hold. We did not see the applications coming in like we used to or had there for a while. And so we're going to start to see what happens with those as well. And the last thing is just sort of visitation trends. When we were coming off of 2020, as we got into 21 and 22, we certainly saw a large boost in the number of people that were just coming to the Charlottesville area in general to visit. A lot of people were tired of being at home and they wanted to be out and someplace else. We've seen that sort of tail off a little bit over the last year. We do have a couple things coming up that are going to be very important for us. First is the Virginia 250. Virginia's role in the nation's 250th anniversary and birthday that happens next year. Charlottesville is going to be a key area in that. We're looking to capture that in conjunction with our friends at the CACVB. And then next year will also mark the 50th anniversary of the downtown mall being converted into a pedestrian mall area. So some things you may have not seen the graphic yet, but that's a new graphic that's coming out from Friends of Seaville Downtown that's really going to celebrate and accentuate Charlottesville Downtown Mall and the 50th anniversary along those lines. So we see that there's potential to recapture some of that and create some of that momentum again that have maybe tailed off a little bit as we go into this next year. The online resources on our page, charlottesville.gov/ecodev. You can see the Economic Development Strategic Plan. The appendix with all the data is in there if you really need some reading to put you to bed at night. A copy of our annual report, not just from this year, but previous years is there as well. Encourage you to take a look at that. Our retail storefront vacancy report, we do one of those in January and July. It does not cover every single retail location in the city of Charlottesville, but several areas where there are main retail concentrations. We do that twice a year to just sort of keep a tab on those. We have our newsletter archive. We put out a newsletter about twice a month. It'll be once a month here in November and December because of the holidays. Sites and building portal for those that have commercial sites that are available, commercial buildings that you have space maybe. You can let us know. We link that through the Virginia, the VEDP portal. Staff contact information, all of our information is on there, and just some other data and resources that's available for businesses. Would love to stay connected with you all. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and again, our newsletter that comes out is twice a month, once a month in November and December. We don't sell anybody's information. We don't use it for anything other than that, unless we're trying to put out something as far as maybe like a business survey. We have used emails for that, but that's all we use those for. So you're welcome to click on those QR codes, and would love to have you follow us or sign up for the newsletter itself. And with it, I will be happy. My contact information is there. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have. I was told I get to try to read everybody's handwriting. Let's see what this first one is. According to the Chamber's retail report, sales tax revenue has continued to decline in 2025. What is the Economic Development Office doing to reverse this trend? Great question. What we try to do is we try to work with our businesses to try to help make sure that they understand how to market themselves, how to position themselves. In fact, as we're leading up to the holidays, just yesterday we released something on, it was the first of what's going to be a series of things in LinkedIn and Facebook, and just talk about some helpful hints for small businesses this holiday season and beyond. There's going to be about 5 different things we're going to talk about there. The first one yesterday we talked about was social media, the importance of that. So we are not at a place to necessarily directly control some of the different spending habits, because spending habits tend to relate to how much disposable income that people have. What we do try to make sure that we do is work with those in the commercial property ownership community, those that are in the brokerage community, to try to make sure there's a good blend of different types of retail businesses in the city of Charlottesville. We have a good, I think, if you take a look at sort of the downtown mall and barracks and some of these other places that we have national brand retailers, and then we have very niche, kind of unique retail shops as well. And so we like to try to make sure that we have those types of blends available. I would say that one of the things that's comes up a lot is the downtown mall and foot traffic on the downtown mall. One of the things that we have tried to do along those lines specifically is we have a new ambassadors program that's going to start up here probably right around the first of the year. where there's going to be an organization that's under contract. The group is called Block by Block. They've done this same type of thing in Roanoke, I think Virginia Beach, been very successful, but basically they have ambassadors that will have very identifiable outfits on, and they will be on the downtown mall throughout the day, and really just have a couple different purposes. One, be able to be there as an informational resource, whether it's for people that are out of town visitors, whether it's for locals, individuals that are maybe on the downtown mall that need to be pointed in the direction of resources that can help them. The ambassadors are going to be able to be trained to give that information in a very concise and meaningful way to folks that need it. They will also be able to be equipped to have to do some light maintenance and cleaning work along the way. So if they're going down and they see a piece of trash, they're going to be able to go ahead and take care of that while they're out patrolling the mall and walking the mall throughout the day. They will be very visible, be another set of eyes for us in our office, but also for some of the other services that the city has to help identify if there's a repair that needs to be made or something like that. They will have some responsibility for reporting those as well. So those are some of the different things that we try to do to try to help bolster the retail community that we have in the city. Other questions? I know I didn't do that well. Well, again, my contact information is there, and I'm going to be around afterwards. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has that they maybe didn't want to share here in this public setting. And thank you all very much again for the opportunity, and wish you all the best on your next 100 years.
All right, thanks again, Matt. That was excellent. Oh, yep. Get the clicker back. All right, so well, unfortunately, our chair for YPN, Zoya, she wasn't feeling well this morning, so I'm going to cover the next topic for us on YPN. The Charlottesville YPN is excited again this year, this holiday season, to support the Salvation Army through the Angel Tree program and also bell ringing too. And this will be actually their 11th year supporting the Angel Tree, which is awesome. And this year we'll be trying to do 100 local angels. So make sure you go ahead and put that on your calendar to pick up a few of those. You can go ahead and sign up if you want. You write down your name and number of angels you wish to adopt, and then online, if you're on Zoom, you can also email ypn@caar.com, and we'll email the tags to you, and you can communicate with us as far as getting the unwrapped gifts over to the office in advance of the deadline. How many people have participated in the Angel Tree before? Yeah, I was going to say it's a staple. It's been great for CAAR. So please mark down a couple for your group or for your brokerage. Also, CAAR welcomes you to ring the bells at Barnes and Nobles at Barracks Road on Wednesday, December the 10th. That'll be when YPN is out there. There are multiple 2-hour shifts available, 2 people per shift, so you have a buddy there so you don't feel by yourself. And you can register for a shift using the CAAR Education and Events calendar. Holiday attire is welcome and encouraged. So they appreciate your consideration in supporting these efforts during the holiday season. I have a few association announcements before we adjourn for the day. Influence through collaboration among realtors, affiliates, local government, and the community is one of the many ways CAAR supports you and your business. So we encourage you to learn more about how you can increase your sphere of influence by signing up to volunteer on a 2026 committee or project team, and that's by Monday, December the 1st. You can visit the volunteer webpage on caar.com or scan the QR code here to complete a 2026 volunteer form. CAAR, Blue Ridge Home Builders Association, and the Charlottesville Chamber of Commerce are hosting the Pancakes, there you go, Pancakes and Politics event. The event is moderated by none other than Neil Williamson, Free Enterprise Forum, and will be hosted on Wednesday, December the 10th from 7:30 to 9 a.m. here at Hillsdale. Alongside valuable government updates, you'll have the opportunity to listen directly to our local legislative delegation as they provide insights into the upcoming 2026 General Assembly session. And registration is free for that. It's a great event. The CAAR Awards program is coming up again. We celebrate excellence and professionalism in our community by providing an opportunity to highlight our achievements to a wider audience. The Communications Committee is thrilled to announce the launch of a new awards management system, which will make things a little bit easier and more simple. It's called Reviewer. Once you create your reviewer credentials, you can access both the nomination and awards platforms. Nominations or applications can be started and saved to complete later or submitted in one sitting. And we'll have a workshop on Thursday, November the 13th at 9 or 1 if you want to learn how to use that. And the demo is a great way to learn if you qualify for the CAAR Professional Honor Society as well. So go ahead and make sure you apply or nominate someone for a CAAR award. And we have some time, but the deadline for submissions is in February. On behalf of CAAR, I'd also like to celebrate one of our own. Patrina Tyree has been selected to represent CAAR in the Virginia Leadership Academy class of 2026. So congratulations to Patrina. I don't think Patrina's here today, but she's lovely. So if you see her, please congratulate her. Members are accepted through a competitive application process that prioritizes commitment to association, industry leadership, and to personal and professional development. So again, congratulations to Patrina. And to conclude this morning's meeting, I'd like to welcome the following new Realtor members. And if you're a new Realtor, I invite you to introduce yourself to us if you're here. Do we have any new folks who would like to introduce themselves? No? Crickets? Okay. All right. Any new affiliate members? Here are our new affiliate members. Anybody who is a new affiliate member who'd like to introduce themselves? No? Okay. Well, please check the CAAR education and events calendar as we move towards the holiday season here. There's a lot going on. We hope to see you at the CAAR 2026 installation of officers and directors, which will be Thursday, December the 4th from 9 to 10:30 at Hillsdale. And we have some great folks that are visiting with us from Virginia Realtors as part of that program as well. You can do it in person or via Zoom. Also a reminder, please do vote. Well, actually, we're past voting now. So the election results will be sent by 5 p.m. today. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Thank you.